Welcome to Deep Thought, Thoughts on Intelligence. Playing in the background is Chick Corea, Gary Burden, No Mystery. Yeah, nice little thing playing. Anyway, thoughts on intelligence. You know what? I talked about in a video different modes of thinking. All right. One thing to understand about, like, I'd say IQ tests. IQ tests really only test a limited range of intelligence. It tests primarily like logical intelligence. It tests primarily linguistic and mathematical intelligence, right? And one author actually said the IQ tests are really they really just test reading ability, which I have to agree with them. And they're legitimate. They're really legitimate because it does test something, but it doesn't tell the whole picture. See, one of the things I like is Howard Gardner's, when he talks about, he's a writer, he talks about multiple intelligences. I think he's actually a psychologist. I read his book a long time ago, but it made perfect sense. Because, you can't really, like, you have people, they'll score well on those IQ tests. And they'll score well. I mean, we see it all the time. I mean, they know everything. But then when it comes down to life, they don't do very well. Unless they happen to get in a profession where it could really take advantage of it. But a lot of times the same people, they'll have trouble getting through a relationship. They don't know how to deal with people, If they have anything happen to them, like we've all seen, like people who would do well in high school, they get the valedictorian, or they do well in college, but then, years later, they out on the street or something. And the reason, stuff happen. See, one of the things is you got to look at intelligence differently. You got to ask yourself, does that intelligence actually get you through life? Now, if your business or whatever you do for a living is taking tests, probably. But even if you can get a good job with it, does it help you to survive on that job? Because there's also social intelligence. And also, too, you have to ask yourself, okay, you got a good score on it, but does it help you with your life mission? Like, I knew this dude, right? He was interesting. He was a salesman. It was painful listening to him talk. And dude couldn't get a computer to save his life, right? I mean, when I say get a computer, he had some real issues. He had some real issues with some stuff that people would label like something like an intellectual would get into. Yet, he could sell the hell out of a suit. I mean, I'm watching him in action because people know I've had 1,001 jobs. So I'm at this retail establishment, working there part time, and then I'm watching this dude sell some stuff, and I'm like, man, this dude was a genius because he was socially what he lacked in like maybe intellectual ability, he made up for in social intelligence. He could read people, he could connect with people easily. So that's an intelligence. See, and and I thought about this other woman I knew, right? If she graduated high school, I'd be surprised. But very intelligent. And speaking of which, I've known three people specifically with 8th grade educations. Like I don't even think they stepped foot in a high school. I'm serious. I don't even think they stepped foot in a high school. Yet, all 3 were fairly affluent. All 3 were fairly affluent. One was an author. Now, I've read a lot of books. His is the first book I've read. I couldn't find a single typo. And then he has some very intelligent stuff, like not one typo, anything. You know? And I mean, you get some books from, and he self-published the book. And I've like read books from like major publishers. You know, you paying like an editor like big money. You know, editor big money had the whole process, and you still find one or two. But this dude, he just built himself up. I knew a woman, 8th grade education, but she had so much. When she passed away, she had so much wealth. It was scary. It was scary. But she had great common sense. I knew this other guy, 8th grade education, but he was giving like attorneys, professionals financial advice. You know, so he's very intelligent. One of the things, I think unfortunately, sometimes the whole IQ thing, intelligence thing is used as a way, a class control, a racial control, is used as a scarcity thing to limit the amount of people at the top. But it doesn't tell the whole story. Because there's so many factors involved. Because, yeah, somebody can get, say 125 on an IQ test, right? But does it mean they can handle it if someone breaks their heart? You know, does it speak to emotional resilience? Does it speak to the ability to adapt to different situations? Then that's an intelligence. You know, somebody who can remain emotionally cool in the face of everything going on, that's a certain intelligence right there. You know, the diva. Like, there's this stereotype, like if you get a real beautiful woman, she's just an airhead or something, right? But is she? That's a different type of intelligence. You know, I talked with a very attractive woman the other day. She said she was able to get major work done on her car for $10. Let me say that again. Major work, a couple $100 worth of work on $10. Just because of her beauty, but because of her sex appeal. And because she knows how to work people. $10, y'all. $10. So do you call that person dumb, or is that person very intelligent because they're able to get something? You know, we have to really rethink it and really rethink that people think differently. Now, I've mentioned about autism. It's an interesting thing. I've mentioned that my sister who passed away a few years ago, she was on autism spectrum, even though we didn't know it at the time. It wasn't the same level of autistic awareness. Now, she actually had an IQ test done on her, right? Like as an adult. It was interesting what now this is a psychologist. He said on some things, now they tested, it was more than a linguistic mathematical thing. She didn't do well on that. But there was some type of spatial, mechanical type of IQ test he gave her. Like, I mean, they do still have, the tests are still good for stuff. But it's just more to it. But he tested on something. It said her score on there was higher than his. And this is a PhD. This was a psychologist, doctor, something. He said her score was higher than his. You know? And that one thing I've noticed just being around autistic children, they just have a different type of intellect, a different type of intelligence, you know? And that's the thing. You know, you have to look at what a person's mission in life is, what their skill is, and you have to look at the whole picture. You know, I've mentioned working retail before. I've worked as a merchandiser, right? There are people who get like literally 6 figures. Listen to what I'm saying. People get 6 figures just because they can fold a shirt a certain way, or just because they can put an outfit on a mannequin a certain way. Like people getting big money just because they can. Seriously, it's scary just because they can hang up stuff a certain way. I was looking at it, I was like, shit, I missed something. You know, somebody with a good fashion sense and they know how to like fold straight, making like more than a living wage. And like I knew this one merchandiser, she was a rep for Ralph Lauren, right? Polo. And she was sexy as hell, but she's driving like a Saab, serious car, living in a four-story townhouse. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold up. And all she did was just fold shit and just make it look pretty. But that's an intelligence. I don't know what her IQ score was. If she didn't know how to, and whether, never talk politics with her. But does that make her less intelligent than, say, the PhD or the academic or anything like that, who can talk a lot of theory? Life out here is about a bottom line, And the thing is, I would say this, every single person has their own intelligence, and the key to every single person is finding the thing that their intelligence suits them for. Right? Finding the thing that it suits them for. I'll use the autistic children example again. It's my belief. I'm a strong proponent of autism awareness. I'm a strong proponent of it because I've always been a strong proponent of people using their gifts. A lot of them have some gifts, and then they have some specific gifts. It's just a matter of finding out what. Like, ultimately, like when I take over the planet, I will change the education system. We need to find out, right? We need to get very good at finding out what a child is good at early instead of trying to fit them into something. That's one of the biggest problems with the education system. Now, I'm going to reference back the 3 people that I knew who were fluent who had 8th grade educations. They were just not put in a position to know what's up. In fact, you got a lot of very smart kids who they'll drop out of high school just because they're not challenged. And I even talked to my sons, and it was like a lot of the stuff in the school is just like irrelevant. I got 2 sons who could probably, everything they teach, and the main thing he need to be taught is coding. And I'm gonna try to get him in a coding class because he don't care about anything else. He wants to program video. One wants to program video games. One wants to hack into your computer. I probably shouldn't have said that. So, but anyway, we have to look at it differently. And, like I say, every single person, there's no, like God, Great Pumpkin, Big Rom, Galactus, Thanos, don't make any mistakes. Seriously. We don't make any mistakes. So everybody has a certain intelligence. It's just a matter of finding what it works for. Where they should be. That's the key. So, anyway, that's it for today. As always, think on this. Peace and blessings.